The UK justice system is a framework that ensures fairness, upholds the law, and protects citizens' rights. It consists of three key parts: the courts, the police, and the prisons. First, the police investigate crime and make arrests. They work to gather evidence to bring suspects to court. Once someone is arrested, they are brought before a court. In the UK, there are many different types of courts, like magistrates' courts for minor offences and Crown courts for serious crimes. In court, judges and sometimes juries decide the outcome of a case. They ensure that the trial is fair and that the law is applied correctly. If someone is found guilty, the judge will decide on a punishment, which could include fines, community service, or imprisonment. Finally, prisons are where people who have been convicted of serious crimes may serve their sentences. The goal is to punish, but also to rehabilitate and prepare offenders for reintegration into society. The UK justice system is based on the principle of fairness, aiming to ensure that everyone, no matter their background, has equal access to justice. Describe your job role and the part you play in the justice system.
So, I'm a legal advisor in the Magistrates Court, and this involves advising magistrates who are lay, so they're not qualified. You have a judge in the Magistrates Court, but we don't tend to sit with them. We also have out-of-office work, such as dealing with search warrants, ACTM, which is traffic TV licensing, no vehicle excise licence, and it's all done on computer by a stack system.
How does your job affect different groups within society?
If we deal with people who are unrepresented, they tend to be people who either don't have the educational ability to find a solicitor, or perhaps don't know the process, can't fill the forms in. So we need to be a lot more proactive with them and take a more active role in the proceedings, because we have to help. We can't advise them, but we help them present their case. On the flip side, if you have somebody who pays privately for their representation, then you still have to conduct the proceedings in the same way, but you don't have as much as an active role.
What are the main challenges or controversies associated with your job?
At the moment, you'll know in the media there's a big issue in relation to space in prison. So one token, the public want to see draconian sentences, especially when you've got the rioting cases and perhaps domestic abuse, all of those kind of things where the public want to see people going to prison, but the actual is that we're being urged not to send people to prison because there's no space.
How is your job role portrayed in the media?
So I would say in a poll of 100 people, 99.9 of them wouldn't know what we do actually for a job. People always think that we're the person that does this in the Crown Court. We're actually not, because the person that does this in the Crown Court is not actually a lawyer. We are lawyers, we have to be, to advise magistrates. I don't think anyone knows what we do. Public, media, I'm not even sure our employers know what we do half the time.
What role does journalism play in shaping public opinion about your job?
So journalists normally come in for high-profile cases, such as we had Naomi Campbell that came in. Because we're the airport court, we get a lot of issues on aeroplanes, a lot of issues at the airport, and we tend to attract a lot of famous people. So I find that we only ever really see journalists at court when you have high-profile cases. They also, I have to say, only report their slant on what goes on, and I don't think they report very fairly, if I'm honest.
Can you give me an example or past experience that reflects your answer?
So I once had an officer who he went to a call. When the defendant opened the door, he threw a cup of boiling tea at the officer and quite badly burnt him. I actually had a magistrate on the bench who was ex-police herself and an ex-coroner's officer, and we were given extensive information about how mentally ill this defendant was and what an adverse effect it would have on him to go to prison. And even the prosecution themselves asked us not to send him to prison. So the magistrates gave him a prison sentence, but they suspended it, and in the paper the next day we were absolutely slated for not sending this person to prison, considering the damage that he caused to the police officer's face.
What flaws are there within the justice system, and how do you think they can be improved?
Basically, it's all down to money. There's no money within the court service at all. So today, for example, one of the courts was freezing cold, the other court was boiling hot. it's very difficult to perform your job when you have that situation. Same with the police. There's not enough money to have police on the streets, so the crime isn't detected. They need to pour a lot more money into all of the service providers that use the court and the court themselves if they want to have a better service.
Thank you. In essence, the justice system strives to protect rights, deliver fairness, and ensure that law and order are maintained across the country.